Good evening. I want to thank everybody for showing up here tonight for the freshman orientation for the class of 2026. Seems very hard to believe that we are saying 2026, but we are, and I want to welcome you to Modern Day here this evening. As we go through the slides and you have your packets, at any time, if you have questions, please stop and ask. We'd be glad to answer those questions at any time. At the conclusion of the program, we also will be up here. We'll all be up here. We'll answer those questions as well, those individual questions that you may have based on your class schedule that is in your packet. We'll get into a little bit more of that schedule. Obviously, you know, the idea of the schedule, it's based on the grades that you have earned in middle school and 8th grade. It's based on recommendations of your teachers in middle school. It's also based on your PSAT that you took. You know, the idea is when we come from 7 different grade schools, and maybe even more, not everybody's from one of our feeder schools. So wherever middle school you go to, we have to mold all that in so that you have the right schedule so that you can be successful. And so that is why everything that is on those sheets is a recommendation based on the information that we have at this time. But before we begin with introductions, we are going to begin our evening with prayer. We live by bells here in school, and we also have prayer every day and every afternoon. So, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. For the freshman class, loving Father, you are the source of all new beginnings. We give thanks for our incoming freshman class, and we ask you to be present to all those beginning high school this fall. Help them not to be afraid, but to embrace their high school years with courage, hope, and determination to do their best. Give to them a deep conviction of your love for them, and help them to take advantage of the opportunities that come their way. We pray in the name of Jesus the Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, I'll introduce some of those that are going to speak tonight, and you can see some of them up there, the administration. First of all, my name's Darren Knight, and I'm a graduate of Modern Day, a 1985 graduate of Modern Day. I came back to Modern Day in 1992 after being an Indianapolis Cardinal Ritter for several years after graduating from the University of Evansville. I've worked in several roles here in the Social Studies Department, moved into Dean of Students in 2007, and it's been a privilege. This is my 8th year as principal of Modern Day High School, and it's been a privilege to work with the students and the families. You're the reason we're here. You make it for us. That's our privilege, that we get to deal with you. And the longevity of those of us that are here is because of the families that come to Modern Day High School. And I truly, truly mean that and appreciate that. A couple of people up there that really make me look good, and I appreciate everything that they do for Modern Day, for your students. First of all, our assistant principal, Miss Melba Wilderman. Melba, too, is an 85 graduate of Modern Day. We were classmates. I don't know if she claims that or not. I don't know if she'd tell you that or not, but we were. She was a longtime teacher in the diocese. I believe served 15 years as principal of St. Joe in the county. She changed direction 4 years ago, came to Modern Day High School as an assistant principal, and we are so blessed to have her here working for Modern Day, for our community and our students. So I want to thank Melvin. If you have questions afterwards, she's running the slideshow. She's back in the glass back there, and she's filming tonight. So we thank her. Miss Shay Rainier is also an 85 graduate of Oneida Modern Day High School from Princeton Community High School. She has been at Modern Day since 1990 after graduating from the University of Southern Indiana. She has worked at Modern Day in various roles as an English teacher. She moved into the office as a school counselor in 2005 and has been in the office since 2005 working with students. We really, in our office, we sometimes have defined roles, but we really don't have defined roles. It is a collaborative effort between the three of us in that office to make sure that the school is running, to make sure that the students are getting what they need. And so I don't really want to define those roles in the office. And I'm grateful for Ms. Melva Wilderman and Shay Rainier in the main office. In our OIA office, I want to mention we have Ms. Jill Seiler. She is our enrollment director. She works very closely with the grade schools and with you on scheduling visits, scheduling any kind of activity between the grade school and the high school. We're very happy to have Jill from St. James, Indiana, in that role as our enrollment director. And then another person that's going to speak tonight, talk about tuition, is Ms. Karen Liley. Ms. Karen Liley works in our business office. When we went to the president-principal model and the schools started to do more on their own as an individual group, there was a need for the business office for all the accounting purposes. I mean, you're talking a lot of money that is coming in and a lot of money that is going out for different services and fees. And so Ms. Karen Liley, we're very, very happy and thrilled with the job that she does for Mater Dei High School and in working with our families as well. So Karen Liley will be speaking shortly as well. At this time, I am going to turn it over to Ms. Shay Rainier, who is going to talk a little bit about registering for classes and the pathways to your diploma. Thank you.
Good evening. I don't have the loud booming voice that Mr. Knight does, so I'll use this microphone. I, too, want to welcome you. When I look out, I see a lot of you and remember you from being here when you were students. And I don't take it lightly, nor do any of us here, that you have trusted us with your students. We are honored by that, and we hope to do our best to honor your decision to send your children here. So thank you. Diploma. Let's talk about the end goal. We're here to get a diploma. The state of Indiana has changed a little bit of things. If you've had older students or even when you yourself graduated, it's different now to get a diploma in Indiana. And it's called Pathways, and there are 3 buckets that every student must fill in order to graduate. The first bucket you're familiar with if you've had other students. It's the actual academic classes in the diploma, and there's either the Academic Honors Diploma or the Core 40 Diploma. Both prepare you for college, all right? One just goes into a little more depth, and that's the Academic Honors. The requirements for Academic Honors, you have to get through pre-calculus, which usually means 4 years of math. Some of you, I know, and we've had a lot of questions, and Ms. Jeannie Thomas is going to answer those in a few minutes about math. Go through at least pre-calc. We want you in a math as a senior. So if you have finished pre-calc as a junior, then senior year you will go into AP Stats, AP Calculus, and she'll give you some other options. So Academic Honors, yes, 4 years of math. You also have to have 3 years of a foreign language if you're Academic Honors Diploma. Some of you could go 3 years of German or 3 years of Spanish. Some of you may say, hey, I've done 2 years of one of the languages, struggling a little bit, or maybe you just don't care for that language. You can switch and do 2 years of another language and still be Academic Honors. So when you see, when they're talking about Academic Honors, they say 6 to 8 credits. That's either 3 years of one language or 2 years of 2 languages. The other big thing with the Academic Honors Diploma that sets it apart from Core 40 is you cannot have a semester grade of lower than a C-. So if you get a D, you still pass the class for the semester, but you're ineligible for Academic Honors in core subjects that are required for that diploma. Core 40 still requires, they both require English. It does require math. You do not have to get through pre-calculus. So there's just a few nuances that make it different, but again, both are very good for college prep. The second bucket is called employability skills, and the biggest piece of that is service. Every one of your students has service through the theology department. So in order to fill this bucket, they will do service, and then they'll write about it at one point during their 4 years here, probably every year. and we will keep that writing on file, and that is proof of their service. So that fills that bucket automatically through theology. The third bucket is post-secondary readiness, and that's those wonderful standardized tests. It's the I-STEP. Some of you, it's going to be the SAT, because that's going to be required for the junior year. So there's different benchmarks that students have to hit in the SAT, passing the I-STEP, and those we'll talk about later. But that bucket, normally, our students don't have any issues with it. There are waiver procedures, but in the past, we have never had anyone not fill these buckets. All right? There's always been a path to those. So if you have questions about that, let us know. But no, it's nothing new for us. We've always kind of done this. We've just tweaked it to fit the new requirements. So as you look at this wonderful green sheet that's in your folders, this is your registration sheet. This is when we meet on Zoom and talk about your classes. This is what you'll send back to the school. So everyone will take freshman theology both semesters. That's why it's already circled for you. Everyone will take English 9. Everyone takes preparing for college and career and 1 semester of personal financial responsibility. So every freshman takes those. Now here's where students will deviate based on their skills. Science, there's 3 options. Earth space science is a very solid science. It kind of floats a little bit between biology and probably their 8th grade science. It kind of preps you to get into biology. So if science isn't your thing, you may want to start in earth science to build up that confidence. A majority of freshmen will be in biology. Now, if you'll notice on your green sheet, biology and honors biology, there are different course numbers for them. What that means is at Modern Day, it's the same book, all right? But you're going to go into more depth in honors biology. You're going to do more labs, all right? Your student will do more work independently in honors biology. They will probably move at a different pace than biology, but they are going to get enough background in laboratory, in lab reports, in reading, in self, and just being independent advocates that will put them into chemistry a year earlier. If you do regular biology, it's going to go a little bit slower pace. You're still going to get the state requirements, but instead of being prepared for chemistry as a sophomore, you will be prepared for ICP, which is Introduction to Chemistry and Physics. Then junior and senior year, you'll move into your chemistries and your physics. So it just puts you at a different pace in the sciences. All 3 of those also will go for either diploma. When you're looking at math, Ms. Jeannie Thomas is going to try to clear up a lot of the questions that you have on math.
Hi, so if you look at that green sheet that she was talking about, on the registration form, there's a sticker that has our recommendation for which math class that you should sign up for. And all these recommendations are based on a combination of what math class you're in this year, algebra or pre-algebra, 8th grade math, your grade in that class, your 8th grade teacher's recommendation, your 7th grade iLearn score, and your 8th grade PSAT scores in both math and English. So some of you are recommended just to take geometry. If you have an A in your 8th grade algebra and you scored high enough on the math portion of the PSAT test, then you can get your high school algebra credit and start here as a freshman in geometry. Some of you are recommended to double up in Algebra 1 and geometry. If you're getting an A in your current 8th grade algebra class, but you did not meet the other requirements, then you're eligible to double up in both algebra and geometry. Now, if our recommendation is for you to double up, but you feel like you don't need to retake algebra here as a freshman, you know it well enough, you will have the option at the end of the year in May to take our freshman algebra final exam and test out of the algebra class and then just take geometry. Many of you are recommended to take algebra. If you're currently in the 8th grade algebra, you don't meet the doubling up requirements, or you're currently in pre-algebra and you are passing that class, then you're going to sign up for algebra. That will be the majority of you. Some of you are recommended to take Algebra 1 with lab, And this course is for those who will need some extra help. If you did not pass your math class last semester, or if you scored low on the standardized tests, you'll sign up for Algebra with Lab. Now, you know, we have block scheduling here where our classes meet every other day, but Algebra with Lab, you'll get math every day. You'll have algebra class during one block, and then on the alternating day, you'll have the Algebra Lab. And that'll give you a chance to get extra individual help. We use other resources like worksheets, puzzles, games, a lot of group work to reinforce and strengthen what you learned in your algebra lesson the day before. Now, for those of you who want to look ahead, plan ahead for senior year, if your goal is to get to AP Statistics or Calculus, then you'll need to get to pre-calculus as a junior. So you'll need to be finished with Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and Geometry by the end of your sophomore year. There's 3 ways to get there. You can get your high school algebra credit this year, start your freshman year in geometry. You can double up freshman year in algebra and geometry, and then that'll put you in Algebra 2 as a sophomore. Or you can go ahead and just take algebra freshman year, and then if you get, I think it's a B+ or higher in there, then you can double up sophomore year in geometry and Algebra 2. So those are all the different ways to get to pre-calculus as a junior for those of you wanting to get to those AP classes senior year. Now, we made our recommendation for each of you based on just a lot of data, placing you where we think that you're going to be the most successful, and we don't know you individually. And we don't know your work ethic, and we don't know if you had an exceptionally good day or bad day when you took that PSAT test. So if you have any questions or concerns about what we recommended for you, or if you just want to talk to somebody in our math department, just let us know. I'll be here afterwards down here in the front if you want to come and talk to me. Or whenever Mrs. Vernier does the Zoom meeting with you, you can ask her. She'll get you in touch with me or with one of the other math teachers, and we can talk to you about it.
I apologize. I don't remember things as well as Mr. Knight. Ms. Thomas was a 1981 graduate of Mater Dei and has been here since Jeannie, help me out, 80, huh? Since 1985. So, go. All right, looking at the next one on your green sheet, social studies. Now, social studies, you have 2 options, geography and world history. You have to take one of these 2, either freshman or sophomore year. You do not have to take both. Some do because they really like social studies. But you have to take one, either freshman or sophomore year. If freshman year, you take one of these 2, then sophomore year, you're eligible to take AP World History, which would be your first AP class. AP is advanced placement. Those classes and that curriculum is run by the SAT Corporation. So an AP World History class at Mater Dei is very similar to one at a school in Texas or California or Michigan or Florida. All right? And they are optional college credit. If you take AP World History and score well on the national exam in May, then you could earn college credit. So AP World, any AP class also on a transcript, colleges know that you're a serious student, that you challenged yourself. That is a distinction that some colleges will ask, how many AP classes did this student take during high school? So those are your options for social studies. PE. Now, we do still have the traditional PE class. 2 semesters are required for graduation. Most of our students, or many of our students, get flex credits in PE, and those are from state-sanctioned sports. Now, there's a little bit of a change, especially if you've had older students. In the past, if you played soccer for 2 years, those were your 2 credits. Now, they want you to play 2 different sports. So you can play soccer for 4 years, but you still only get 1 credit. So if you play soccer and run track, there's your 2 credits. Some students still are just playing the 1 sport. They just play football. And then they're taking 1 semester of PE. You can mix it. But you have to have 2 credits in PE before you graduate. Now, and there, like I said, it's 19 IHSAA sanctioned sports. Also cheerleading, marching band, color guard, and winter guard also count for those PE credits. Now, I've had students who have said, Mr. Rainier, I probably need to take a PE class because I didn't get to play very much. That's not where you get your credit. Your credit comes from the practices, and you're practicing just as hard every day as anyone else. So don't stress on that. If you're like, hey, I made the team, but I don't get in the game a lot, you still get those PE credits as long as you finish the season and you're practicing. World languages. If you are considering the Academic Honors Diploma, you need to take, again, 3 years of one world language or 2 years of two. The languages that we offer at Mater Dei are Spanish and German. We offer 4 years of both of those languages, so if that's something you're really interested in, you can go through 4 years of that. Some students will take, like I said, 2 of one and 2 of another. German 4 is, if you get through German 4, you can take that for college credit. And then Spanish 3 has an honors portion. So there's different options that you can take with the world languages. And you can just take a year of foreign language on the Core 40 as well. All right, electives. Now, electives are those things that are, those classes that are extra, that just may be something you enjoy. A lot of students take study hall, especially during season. So let's say you play baseball or softball, and you want a study hall during that season. Make sure on this sheet that you circle study hall, you circle the one on, and then write your season beside it. So we're going to try to make sure we get your study hall during that season. If you're taking a study hall both semesters, obviously you don't have to do that. There is a misconception that if you take a study hall, you will not have enough credits to be academic honors, and that is false. You can take, any student can take one study hall every semester, and as long as that student does not fail any classes, they will have enough credits to be academic honors. My philosophy on study hall, if it will help you, if you have a practice or you work and you need that hour and a half every other day to study, by all means take it if it's going to help you and help you keep your grades up. But if all you're going to do in study hall is play Fortnite or try to online shop, take a class. Okay? And you may say, I'm not sure I need to take a study hall or not. Go ahead and try it and see if it helps. All right? And if you don't need it and you've signed up for second semester, we'll try to find you another class. Also, there are business electives for freshmen. There's Introduction to Business. That's a 1 semester class. It's kind of like a general business class that you took in high school. It talks to you a lot about, banking and just how you can do your own personal business. And then Digital Applications and Responsibility is very much a computer class that deals with software that you're going to use in the classrooms, your Excel, your PowerPoints, different things. It also has a little bit of online etiquette when dealing with social media, which I like. English is another elective. Journalism. If you are interested in being on the yearbook staff, you need to take the journalism class first. That kind of teaches you how to do all those layouts and different things. So that is a good option, especially if you like to write, photography, do any of that. Other electives. Fine arts, and we have such a wonderful fine arts program. Fine arts electives are required for the Academic Honors Diploma. Sometime during high school, you have to have 2 fine arts credits, 2 semesters. For the Core 40 Diploma, it's highly suggested. So we've got Intro to 2D Art and Advanced, Intro to 3D Art and Advanced, Fiber Arts. They do a lot with yarns and fabrics. And then Concert Band and Concert Choir. Now, the thing about Concert Band and Concert Choir is you can take those every year as well. There's not very many classes that you can take more than once, all right? So once you take, maybe you really liked Fiber Arts, you can't take it again, all right? But Band and Choir are one of those classes that you can take every year if you have room. So don't think, oh, I can't take that this year because then I won't be able to take it later. That is false. You can take those all 4 years. Now, once you filled out all this green sheet, I will be Zooming with you and your principals on the dates that are on the screen. Parents, if you're interested in us calling you so that you can hear when we're on there or something, please let your principals know, or let us know, or let Miss Jill Seiler know. Okay. Physical forms. The state requires a physical form to enter into high school. So those are due, if not beforehand, the August 3rd. Now, if you're playing a sport, before you can begin practices, you need to have that physical form in. Now, you can go, you don't have to have 2 visits to the doctor. You can take both forms, have the doctor fill out both forms at the physical, and then turn both of those in so that you can participate not only athletics, but then attend school here as well. Mr. Knight will talk about the service program.
Part of the religion requirement that we have here would be the service program. As you can see, we are asking our students to get 12 hours each semester if they can. We're asking 4 hours to Mater Dei, 4 hours to your community, and 4 hours to your parish. And it's not too early to start those service programs. And the way it works, the religion department, your freshman year, most people have a smartphone of some type. You will put an app on your phone, as it's the mobile serve app. So anything you do, you work at your summer social, you work at a camp for grade school kids, you fill out the times, the dates, or whatever, and on that mobile serve app, it will then go to the sponsor. They sign off on it, and we keep track of service hours that way. A lot of times these service hours are part of the assignments in the religion courses. So don't think that, oh my, I got to get 12 hours in. I play a fall sport and a winter sport. When am I going to find time to do this? A lot of these will be taken care of in class. But a lot of our students do these in the summer. They go ahead and they get them taken care of so that they're not trying to, you get one day off if you're in a sport or you're in a club or you're in an event. You get Sunday, possibly. And you don't want to go out and do a lot on Sunday because you're catching up. We get that. So think about what you can do in the summer. The other thing with service program, coming in, it looks great on scholarship applications. It is a cornerstone of the National Honor Society. It is worth so much when scholarship committees, they start to look at an individual and what your script is. What have you done the last 4 years? Okay, we can check off grades. We can check off, a couple activities. But if service separates you from someone else, then you have a much better chance of getting that scholarship from that scholarship committee. So there's a lot of positive. It's learning to give back to the community, but at the same time, you are building a tremendous resume for the colleges that they can look at and say, this is a well-rounded individual. And so we believe in those service hours, and we will continue to help our students with service in our communities. Our school day, now here's one thing that I want to mention as we cover a lot of these things this evening. Students, if you are here, before, August 3rd is our first official day. Is that freshman and sophomore day? Okay. August 3rd, when you show up, half our building will be here. It'll be freshmen and sophomores. And we will cover a lot of this again that day. But I kind of want to let you know, tonight what to expect. First of all, our first bell rings at 7:20. That is the warning bell. And then at 7:25 is when block 1 begins, or 5. At 7:25, we begin every day with prayer, pledge, and announcements. If you are not in your class by 7:25, you are considered tardy. Now, the thing that I want to mention is, students, you are becoming young men and young women. And you need to take some responsibility about your time management. And so we are going to encourage you to do these things. Now, will we be a little bit lenient the first week of school? Absolutely, because you're getting adjusted to a new school. But there comes a point in time when you need to take responsibility for your time and your time management and getting there. And so our teachers will write tardies. And we have consequences if you accumulate so many tardies. If you accumulate your 4th tardy in a quarter, you serve an hour detention. If you get 6 tardies in a quarter, you serve a 3-hour community service Saturday school. We feel it's important to learn to be on time right away. And so you're becoming, like I said, young men and young women, and we feel that it is important to have these types of rules that we have here and consequences for your actions. There are 5 minutes between passing period. The building's not that big. Again, you'll take a tour that first day when you're here on August 3rd. You'll get to know the numbers. Now, a lot of you have been here before. I get it. You participate in the drama department or speech, grade school speech, athletics, whatever. You think you know the building, but you may not know it as well as you think. And so we will use those first day or couple of days to get you accustomed so that you can get a routine. Do I need to take my books for my first 2 classes of the day, or will I have time to go to this class, go back to my locker, and get to my next class? It is, again, a learning process, and that's what we're here for. Lunch periods, we have 3 lunch periods. We have, and really kudos to our cafeteria ladies and staff. We feed 500 students and 45 teachers every day in 90 minutes. And that's a tremendous thing that those ladies do down there in that serving line. And so every day, for some of, like me, that's lunch period might be my favorite subject of the day. Dismissal, we dismiss at 2:05 every day. Now, you can see there practices or events cannot begin until we say 2:45 or 2:40. That time between 2:05 and 2:40, if you have nothing going on and your parents pick you up, that's fine. You are free to go after the 2:05 bell. But that time where we don't allow any sports to begin, that is for clubs and or meetings. For example, if National Honor Society wants to have a meeting, they start their meeting at 2:10, they go until 2:30, and then those kids are released to get to practice by 2:40. I can't think of all the clubs, but there's, all the org groups that we have here. We have that built-in time. But what we don't want to do, especially during COVID times, and this is why it changed for us a little bit, we don't actually go to homeroom at the end of the day and sit there from 2:10 to 2:30 and then release our kids. If there's no meetings, nothing going on, they are released at that time. So the 2:05 bell will stay standard for us next school year. Attendance policy, again, we need you here. The rules on attendance, you are allowed 3 unexcused absences in a 9-week quarter. If you get your 4th unexcused absence in any block, and I hate to bring up bad news, but what you've done is you put yourself in jeopardy of not passing that class for the quarter. Because if you get your 4th unexcused, then the administration reserves the right to give you an F. It's a 68. The highest they will give you is a 68, and you will fail. Now that's unexcused absences. We understand excused absences. Excused absences would be a doctor's appointment. Excused absence would be, unfortunately, if you have to attend a funeral. Those kind of things, 100% don't count against you. But we have unexcused as well. Now, people get a little bit confused by that sometimes. They're called unexcused absences because we have to report them to the state that way. And if you accumulate so many, then the diocese comes into our building and they have a meeting with you, and they take it out of our hands, and they try to find out what the problem is, why you're not coming to school, and then they take action from there. But those 3, they're called 3 unexcused in a 9-week period. They're really personal days. Another way to look at it. We have to label them unexcused, but somewhat personal days. So if you call in sick, like your child, you say, my kid's sick, and I got a sore throat, whatever. It's not that we don't believe you. We do. Okay? But we have to mark it as unexcused. If you're out 2 or 3 days, you go to the doctor and you have strep throat, well, then all those days become excused because that is diagnosed by a doctor, and we can remove those days as unexcused and excuse those days. But if you just miss because you're not feeling well one day, That is an unexcused absence and or a personal day, as I like to call it. And please do this for us. Call the main office by 8 o'clock to report your absence. You can leave a message if you want on the answer machine we check the answer machine every morning. People leave us messages all the time. We write them down. We get here at 6:30 in the morning. And so if you want to leave a message, that's fine. But if you don't call us by 8, we're going to call you and find out, what's going on. Is everybody okay? We need to be responsible for where your child is. And so we will call by 8. Frequently asked questions. The bus form, if you're a daily rider, okay, you need to turn in a form to Mater Dei by March 31st. So, and EBSC is real sticklers on that. They need that information so that they can get those kids on buses and the routes. We have 2 drop-offs. We do have kids that from Wrights, and we do have the North at Central. So there are 2 different drop-off points and pick-up points, and those are 2 that we have. Drop-off procedures. We have 3 places this fall when you drop your kid off. Now, our doors open at 6:30. You think about, I know a lot of the grade schools don't open until 7, but we open at 6:30. And freshmen, you will come into our building and you can go to your locker and you can hang out in the cafeteria. Down there, the lights are on, and you can hang out there. But again, we feel that as a young lady or man, you can come in our building because your parents have to be at work early. They can drop you off at 6:30. You're responsible enough to come in, have a seat, talk to people, work on homework, whatever you need to do in our building. If you can't do that, then that privilege can be taken away. But we won't go there at this time. But the drop-off locations and the doors that are open, unfortunately, 6 years ago, every door in the building was open at drop-off. Students could enter our building in any door. But because of school safety, we've had to lock down everything. That's very unfortunate and sad. So we have 2 doors that are open in the morning, and we have teachers at each door. Miss Melba Wilderman is always at the cafeteria door at 6:30 in the morning. You can drop off. That's door number 3. You can come down. You can drop off there at the cafeteria, and students may enter that way. Miss Bubby Wannemuller is here on the teardrop. That is door number 1 right here. Students may enter that, and you can go up the front hill that way. If you drop off the cafeteria, you can do, obviously you can go up the side hill, or you can circle around and go up the main hill. A lot of people they choose to drop off in the back, the north parking lot. They get in and get out much quicker. The only but the only difference there is your student has to walk from the north lot to door number 1, because door number 12 are those doors down this hallway here, and those are locked in the morning. And so we just don't want people entering our building at that place. So not a big deal. Nice weather. Students walk all the time. A lot of parents do drop off. So we do have 3 drop-off locations. As you can imagine, on drop-off, if the closer it gets to 7:20, the more congested it's going to be. Probably from 7:05 to 7:20 is the busiest activity in our parking lot. And parents, don't forget, there are 16-year-old drivers out there that are coming into our parking lot. So my advice to you to get in and get out would be to get here 6:50 to 7 o'clock, and traffic or congestion is going to be much less during those times than it is at 7:05. Just so understand that. If my child becomes ill during the day, again, we understand those things, and we'll talk to the freshmen when they come in. But we don't want our students going to the bathroom with their phone and calling their mom or dad and say, "Pick me up, I'm sick." We get you're sick, and we understand, and we want to work with you. So we ask all students to go to the main office, report your illness, we'll take your temperature, and we will call home, and we will let you know that your son or daughter is not feeling well, we've taken their temperature, they have this, they're in our sick room, wherever they need to be. So students, make sure you communicate with us how you're feeling and what's going on. Just don't go to the bathroom and call and then go to the office and say, I'm going home. Cell phones, I think we have to recognize that kids have them. You know, at one time, I've been here long enough where we didn't have cell phones. And then we had flip phones, and now we have smartphones. And we used to say they could only be in your locker. Now we recognize that they have them, and we allow them to take their phones with them. However, what we ask is that the kids, they take their phone, the teachers have, hanging on their walls, they have pouches. Students will place their phone in the pouch, and it will remain there, okay, during that block. Now, a lot of teachers, you know, the last 5 minutes, they'll say, students, get your phone, and they can get on there and check their messages or do whatever. But that's up to the discretion of the teacher. But then during passing period, you have that phone, you can check messages, whatever you need to do. We do allow them to have them in the cafeteria. That is a privilege that we have. Again, becoming a young man or a young lady, and the responsibility of that, you may have your phone until you can't, but you lose that privilege for whatever reason. For example, if you're supposed to have your phone in the pouch and you don't turn it in and you have it in your pocket and it dings or goes off, that teacher confiscates it. They bring it to me and they set it on my desk. And then the student will come to me at 2:05 and say, can I have my phone? And I'll say, sure, you can have your phone. I would never keep a phone overnight because I understand that that's communication, that's an insurance policy. I will give it back to them. However, the consequence of not putting it in the pouch or having it where you weren't supposed to, for 5 days, that phone is placed on my desk at 7:20 and picked up at 2:05. For 5 days. That's first offense. If it happens again, it can be 10 days. If it happens a third time, then we're going to have a little meeting or a big meeting in a little room, whatever you want to call it. And, we just need to handle those phones and how we are treating those phones because we do have to respect the sanctuary area of the classroom. It is important that bells and whistles can't be going off in that classroom. Okay, we need to make sure that the education is happening. As far as bring your own device, it's on there, a minimum of a 10-inch screen. Most of our students do purchase a Chromebook. A Chromebook would be adequate for everything that the student would need here at Mater Dei. They can do their math, Excel, homework problems on there. Teachers like them because they're small enough that they can fit underneath their desk, kind of like the old way where the textbooks went. Teachers, they can have them put them underneath their desk. They can get them out and they fit nice on the desk when they need them for whatever teachers are doing. But if you have any questions on that, contact us and I'll put you in contact with one of our IT guys or our media specialists. They can answer those questions much better than I can. But we do ask that our students have some type of bring your own device. And if you need to know exactly what the specifications are on that, get on our website and check out our handbook because all those rules are on there in our handbook. Dress code, a big thing for me is neatness. We do require the Mater Dei logo approved shirt, khaki pants, brown or black shoes. Most of our kids will wear the Sperry shoe, but you don't have to, but it just needs to be brown or black and it needs to be a dress shoe. We did away with the Hey Dudes. I know they're popular, but they're too much like a tennis shoe, and so we require a dress shoe. If for some reason, again, this goes back to maturing as a young person, it happens from time to time, you leave your shoes in somebody's car, and all you have is a pair of tennis shoes. Just come see me in the morning and say, I had an issue. Again, it's learning to communicate with people. Hey, Mr. Knight, I had an issue. My shoes, I left them in my dad's car last night. He took off early for work. I couldn't get them. All I have is these tennis shoes. I'm going to say, thank you so much for communicating with me. Just make sure you grab them tonight, have them on tomorrow. You know, have a belt on. Be neat is what it's about. It's learning to be neat in having your hair cut, boys being clean shaven. It's being just neat in your appearance because you represent modern day, you represent yourself here, and we always have people coming in our building, and I do believe it is important, one of those, again, learning those values of life of being on time and being responsible and being organized and being neat. So we will continue to enforce those rules. Only girls may wear earrings. Boys and girls, or especially boys, you must be clean shaven. One thing I always like to tease the boys about, if I see their hair getting a little bit long, I'll say, hey, might be time for a haircut. And they'll look at me, and I'll say, do you want my barber, or do you want to go to yours? Because this is the only cut my barber does is right here. And so you have that option to get that taken care of. But we do have detailed, other dress days. A lot of Fridays, we will have spirit dress where you wear modern day jeans. You can wear jeans with modern day apparel. Homecoming week is a big week here. We have a homecoming during football and basketball. We have all kinds of free dress. We'll wear green on St. Patrick's Day. We'll wear red Monday on Valentine's Day. And so we do have built-in days throughout the year where they are not required to be in uniform. This is something that I think is important for all of our new students, freshmen, or any students that are coming in, whether it be sophomore or junior. Every student that is coming to Modern Day, you are considered on probationary students for the first semester. Now, I don't want that to scare you, but I want to emphasize the importance that we believe that it is so important that you get off on the right foot. And so if you are failing 6 classes after the first semester, or your attendance is so bad that we've had to call in the diocese or we've had to have a meeting, we reserve the right at that time to say, Modern Day may not be the best place for you. Or we may say, we're going to give it one more semester. Let's see how we can improve. How can we help you improve? What do you need from us in order to be successful here? But we want to make sure you know that if things aren't going well, we are going to call you and say, hey, we need to come on in and have a meeting. We need to talk about what's going on with your student. So we wanted to add this slide here to let you know that if things aren't going well, it's our responsibility to contact you. All right, tuition is above my pay grade, so Miss Karen Lively is going to come up at this time.
I would like to do 2 things tonight. I want to provide you with the tuition rates for next school year, and then I just want to give you some information about the tuition billing. As you can see on this slide, it does say these are estimates, but we did have tuition approved today. They may be off about $1. So like that for a parishioner, 1 student, the rate is $7,910. If you have 2 students here, the rate is $6,954, and that's a 12% discount. So you'll save about $953 per student if you have 2 students here. If you have 3 students here, the rate is $6,280. That's about a 20% discount for having 3 students here. And then as you can see, the non-parishioner, if you have 1 student here, the rate is $11,500. And if you have 2 students, the rate is $10,409. And that's about a 9.5% discount for multiple students. We do have 1 fee, and it's the book fee of $275 for each student. So you would want to add that to each of those tuition rates. Okay, and then on tuition billing, we use Fax Management. It's a third-party tuition statement and billing vendor. Many of the feeder schools use Fax Management as well. And what will happen in about mid-June, you will get an email from Fax Management, and the email address is noreply@faxmanagement.com. I would say almost all our families, that will actually go to your inbox, but we do have about 10% of families, that email will go to your junk mail. So in mid-June, if you do not get an email from Fax Management, call the office, call the business office, and we'll get that taken care of. Once you get that email, there will be a letter in there, and there will be a link to their website. It's a very friendly website. You'll go online and you'll sign up you'll have an ID and a password, and you'll be able to view your tuition statement. And then after you view your tuition statement, if you have any questions about your fees or any tuition assistant you thought you were getting, you can call the business office and we'll get that resolved. Secondly, what you'll do at that time is you can set up a payment plan. And that payment plan, actually it's called a payment plan agreement. That agreement needs to be completed by July 15th because that is tuition due date. Now, when you on fax, what you can do is you can pay in full, and if you pay in full, there is no fee. Or you can have semester payments, and there is a $40 payment plan fee if you do semester payments. It's just one payment of $40, not two payments of $40. And usually your semester payments will be half of it in July and then half of it in December. And then the third option is to sign up for monthly payments. And that would be 10 months. And they'll normally go from July to April. And there is a $75 fee to set up for a 10-month payment plan. And what happens when you sign up for that payment plan and you sign your payment agreement, that fee, if you do semester or monthly, that will come out a couple days after you finish your agreement. It will not be part of your payment, your first payment. It'll be a separate draft from your bank account. And tuition payments must be paid online through fax. There is, however, one exception. If you pay in full, you can send a check to Mater Dei or you can hand deliver a check by July 15th. But that is the only exception. Fax management really is the most efficient and secure way to pay tuition. And that's really our preference because it is so efficient because all the payments are posted on fax. We don't have to do that manually. So we really would appreciate if you would pay through fax, even if you're paying full. But we understand that some people would just prefer to pay by check and bring it to the school. Another thing I always like to mention is you can have multiple payers on an account. We understand that sometimes grandparents are paying part of the tuition. In some cases, both a mother and a father are paying for that tuition. So you can call me, and I will separate that tuition bill however you want me to. I can split it in half, but there will be two payment plans for that tuition statement for that student. So what I would ask is that you would call me as soon as you know that you need to have more than one payer on that tuition statement. And then to close, really everything I share tonight, I will repeat this information in the digital newsletters for April, May, and June. And of course, at any time, you can call the business office if you have specific questions. Thank you.
Hello. Again, sorry for the multiple emails today, but I did want to just go over a couple tuition assistance notes with you. We have we have the school vouchers and the SGOs, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with at your elementary school. But we also we're lucky enough as the school to have some generous donors that earmark money just for tuition assistance. And that is under what's called CEF, so Catholic Education Foundation. And then we also apply, because we have two sisters from the Daughters of Charity, we also apply for a grant every year because they work here, and we're able usually to get that tuition assistance grant as well. That grant is only for, they want the child to have that money for every year for the 4 years that they're here. The only stipulation is the student has to have a minimum of a C average. So if they dip below that C average, then they lose that grant. But so I try to make sure I give that to the kids that have the better grades and everything. But I just want to assure you that we will work with you on tuition assistance. We have a motto here. We don't want the price tag of the tuition rates to scare any of you or to keep you from getting a modern day education. If you want your child to be here, if they want to be here, then we will work with you on tuition assistance, I promise. And there's no cut and dried way that we decide who gets what. The voucher has those income guidelines, and so do the SGOs. But for the CEF and the mission and ministry grants, those do not have income guidelines. So even if you make more than what the voucher, what the tuition rates say, if there's something going on in your family that, you really need help, please let me know. We are very willing to work with you guys. So what is needed to apply? This is a big one. So you need the completed application form, which there's a form in your folder. And you need 2021 tax information, preferably the 1040. If you are not going to have that 1040 for quite a while, then you can submit W-2s. The difference is with the 1040, we go off of the adjusted gross income, and with the W-2s, we legally have to go off of the gross income, which is sometimes quite a bit more than the adjusted gross income. So, and then there's extra forms that you have to fill out because of that and all that. So 1040 if possible, W-2s if you have to. And then include any supporting documents. So maybe you're divorced and you receive child support. If you can supply the the divorce decree that has the child support payments in there, and that is what you are receiving, then that's fine. I can actually just keep that year after year. You don't have to keep sending me that unless it changes. But sometimes what it says in that divorce decree is not really what you receive. So in that case, you might need to send me a bank statement or like a court statement saying exactly what you've received. Sometimes Social Security, that kind of thing. So the priority deadline is April 1st. Now that means if you turn it in April 2nd, are you out of luck? No. So with the vouchers and the SGOs, we can actually go till further on in August. We like to have the bulk of them done before then, just because if I don't have that information, I can't take it off of your tuition statement. And then Mrs. Lively's sending out a tuition that has the full amount on it. And that's just confusing for everybody. So if we can have all of that in by April 1st, another reason by April 1st is we only have so many CEF and mission and ministry funds available. So we want to make sure that everybody gets that that wants it, by April 1st. After that, there still might be some left. We just can't guarantee that. But just wanted to communicate that with you. So yeah, and the tuition assistance and all the supporting documents are required for us to make a decision on your tuition assistance. So how to apply? So once you get all of those documents together, you can scan them and email them to me at my email address. You can also drop them off at the Modern Day front office. Just please put them in a sealed envelope and attention Jill Seiler on there, because there's just a couple of us that actually know who gets tuition assistance in the building. And, we want to honor your privacy. And so I always tell people, just put it in a sealed envelope. That way nobody's going through your stuff. You don't have to worry about that. So just, for security reasons. Or you can snail mail it to, Modern Day at that address. And then we will have approval letters for those that come in on time by either late April or early May. And then by May 15th, so we'll send out those letters. And then you have a chance to, if that's not quite what you thought you were going to get, maybe you thought you were going to get a little bit more tuition assistance, please give me a call, or you can write a letter or an email or whatever. Just communicate that, oh, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I've kind of done the math in my head. Could I have a little bit more or something like that? Maybe state a reason. Maybe there's something going on that, maybe wasn't in your tuition application that we didn't see before or whatever. So don't be afraid to do that. Okay, so next steps. So the registration and class selection with Mrs. Rainier, and again, that was on that one slide. You have the slides in your packet, but just kind of look to see when your school's coming up. I know there's several of them coming up this Thursday, so we will be Zooming with them. And if you have a student from another school that's not on that list, we will make arrangements privately with you to do that. The bus form is due to Mater Dei by March 31st. And again, you can scan and email that to me, or probably just to me, I can forward it. Or you can drop it off or mail it in, however you want. And again, that doesn't absolutely guarantee you have a seat, but if you don't try, you won't know. But we're at the mercy of the Evansville School Corporation on that. Tuition assistance, priority deadline April 1st. The first tuition payment is due July 15th, or the agreement is due then. First day of school for freshmen, August 3rd. Then they will be off on August 4th. That day will be juniors and seniors, and then everybody will be here on the 5th. Your calendar is in your packet. I wanted to add on to what Mr. Knight said about the Chromebooks and the bring your own device. There is a flyer in your packet that details all about the computers as well. And then school physical and immunization forms are due August 3rd, so first day of school. And again, the IHSAA physical has to be, like if you're in a fall sport, they'll probably start practicing in the summer. That IHSAA physical is due the very first day of practice, so you'll have to give that to your coach. So just a good way to follow us on, just to keep up with what's happening with the school is Facebook. We have several accounts on there, and Twitter and Instagram, and even YouTube. Sometimes we'll record things and put them on there for like our masses and different events that we have. So, and then we just want to thank you for coming again. And I'm sorry about the delay last week, and we had to cancel it and postpone it to today. So I'm glad you all came, and we just want to probably reiterate what Mr. Knight said, that we don't take your commitment to Mater Dei lightly. We really appreciate you being here and trusting your students to us. So we're going to hang around. If you have any questions that you would like to say out loud, you can do so. If not, we're going to hang around. So we would like, for anybody that has any questions, please, feel free to stick around if you can. If not, if you have to go, feel free to email me or any of us. If you're not sure who to email me. I'll be happy to direct you to the proper person if I don't know the answer. So, all right. Well, thank you guys.